Yes, hello. I hope you're fine. I want us to go through Microsoft Access, creating a database using, of course, creating uh, relation database using Microsoft Access. And as we had looked in some of these in class, right now I want us to create them together here, and we will create some of the objects, especially queries, forms, and reports, which we had not created together in class. And then for practice, you can always refer to this tutorial. In my database, I had successfully created a table, and I had told we can create a table uh, using the design view method, because there are two methods: the datasheet view and the design view method. But the better one is to use a table design, where you have to identify different data types for your different field names. Uh, to explain more about these different data types, short text will mostly be used for printable characters, especially from A to Z, and you find sometimes they are combined together with digits, of course 0 to 9, and it can contain uh, up to 255 characters. So use this especially for shorter text that you want to enter as records in your field. The second data type we can look at is long text. This is especially uh, for for memo narration. You want to make a narration or notes in that specific field, then you will have to use that data type. It can accommodate almost up to 6.5 uh, yeah, field characters. So its field size can really be big, and then can also support formatted text. Mm. It used to be referred to as memo field in the earlier versions of Microsoft Access. Data and time is another data type, but this data type will apply to uh, date and time, and you can always select the format, the best format of the date that you would love to use, is the one that you will have to select. And short date, we are mostly familiar with short date format either here, so you can probably select that uh, date format. And another one is auto number. Auto number is a data type which increases values. Values, of course, are long integers. They are these really numbers of ours, uh, and they can increase from 1 uh, to infinity, depending on the size of your database, of your table, that it auto increases itself. And this data type is mostly preferred uh, to be used as a primary key to uniquely identify uh, your records. And another data type we can look at is an only object, uh, mainly only referring to object linking and embedding. So this one, in case you want to put a picture, you want to put a document in your field, you will need to use this data type. It can sometimes be heavy, so in order to avoid having a very big database, and which takes long to load, can be slow, then you don't need to use that type of data. Attachment This one is used to attach files. You can attach files in the database, different types. You want to attach a file, then you have to select that data type for that particular field. Then you will be free to attach a file there. Calculated ones, in case you want to store a uh, calculated of course data, then you'll have to select that data type, and it will have to give you an expression where you can put the formula as you have seen, adding different fields. Or I will use this, I will try to use this data type such that we can see how it works. Then last but not least, we can look at lookup wizard. The lookup wizard looks up a value from another table, and this data type, if selected, will want you to connect it to another selected table or a query where it will be picking information, or you can always create it. The data type determines the kind of values that one uh, wants to store in that field. So you should make sure that you're so much familiar with the data type that you want to put for that particular field, such that you don't mess up with the data. And then as after defining the data type, you can also do the validation. You can also do the validation. And then to do the validations, you can select the field sizes. You can look at the format you want to use, caption, what you want to caption your data. And here you can also make a description of your data that will be contained in your data type. That is also acceptable and important. So I want us to continue to create another table. Remember, I created a students table, so I'll go ahead to create a fees table. They say we want to have a fees table, which will be, of course, linking students to the payments, where we can have access number, students access number, and their access number is shows text. Let's say it will be up to 7 characters, and we can have students' first names, last names, we can have students' gender. And therefore, gender, I want to look up for this value. Look up, I'll type the value I want. Next, then I can put F for female, M for male. Next, can limit it to the list. My entries are limited to this list. I can give it even a size of 1, since it will be just as 1. Go ahead, select students, let's say tuition fees. Paid. Say I make this tuition fee a number. As our numbers are long integers, of course, remember these numbers can be up to double digits depending on what you want to use. Remember, you can also use currency for this field, but this mostly applies to the USD, US dollars. So select your number here and page number under one. Institution and then balance. They want balance to be calculated. I want this to be calculated field, and it will ask me, and so it will be calculated for paid minus, actually it will be tuition minus paid. Tuition minus paid. Okay. Let me choose a primary key field for this as access number. And also put registration number. Maybe in this table, let me make registration number the primary key. Save this, yes. Save as payments table. So I have a payments table here. I can start entering data here by simply typing it A5 6 9 1 first name Abu. Let's see, gender is female. Then the tuition is 1 million. Let's say paid 6 million. In the balance is of course automatically calculated. Let's create a form to enter data in this table. We can go to if an object is opened, then automatically we can create for it a form directed by using this. But if you use form design, you might need to select a table, and if you use form wizard, you also need to select a table. But let's simply create a form from here. Our form is automatically generated. You can use this payments. You can select this as payments form. You can even delete this picture if you want and format your table the way you want. The tables, of course, are arranged in columns, so you can resize them. You can resize these text fields and your table look smarter. Your form looks smarter. You can format it in any way you want. Remember, if you want to add a logo, you can add a logo to your form. Want to insert a picture here or anywhere, you can insert. You can insert the images, you can do attachments in your form in any way you want. Remember, a form will not will only and only be displaying information, or if opened can be was like right now it shows we have one of one. So we will use this form to enter data in our payments table. And so this form is good enough to be used, and our form has views. We can have a form layout. This is the one which we are using right now to edit our table, our form rather, and we can use the form view is what we shall use to enter data in our table. Let's do that. And before I do that, let me first save it. Prompt to save it, and I can save it as payment form. And let me also go ahead to create a students form, students table, students registration form, which will be feeding data into this data, the table, the students table. So the same way, in the same spirit, you will create a form. Simply let me use a form wizard this time. I can take all the fields here. And here you can see to ask you the table you want to use. Here I'm using the students table. Next, you choose the way you want your table to be displayed, and you can select columnar, tabular. Let me select the tabular format. Next, open a form to view or enter data. That is what I want it to do. And how do I want to name it? Student registration form. I will click finish. Here it is. So let me go to layout design such that I can edit its layout. Mhm. Size your form accordingly. Of course, here I'll be resizing my text fields. Simple as that. I'll go ahead to save the changes in my form. Yes. So I can close all the objects and let me say I want to enter data now in my table payments form. So I'll come here and look at these navigation buttons. We have this one to take us to the next record. This one will take us to the last record. This one to a new blank uh, record where we of course have a blank form to use to enter our data, and this one will take us to the first record, which is actually this. So it is reading this. If we want to simply even edit information in our table, we can use this form to edit it, and it will be edited automatically. Let's create a new record, and here I can use access numbers A5556 and registration as S12, B say S21, 78787. My first name as Grace. Gender 6, female, tuition 1 million, pages 800. So that got the new record. Oh, here, 3434. First name is Amos. 100. Here another record. And gender here it says female. So let's simply save only that record and close our form. When we go to our payments table, we'll find all this information already entered. So that's how we can enter information in our tables by use of forms. And let's go ahead to create some queries. Want to query students. Okay, let's create a query out from the payments table. Create. Okay, query design. Let's use query design, and we want to use a payments table. So you select it and press add, and here you can select the record, the field names you want to use. You can click and drag them. And the first names, gender, and we want to use the balances. So you can go ahead and run this query. It will show students and their balances and their fees balances. So if you have a very big table you want to query, that simple query will help you to get that information very fast. Let's say you want to go ahead and advance that query. You can go back to design view, and then you say whose balances are above, okay, are above 500. Okay, let's say 400. 100,000 are greater than, for are equal or greater than, greater or equal to, greater or equal to 400. So here you can simply run your query, and your query will display the number, the students whose balances are really big, they are above 4, equal or above 400. And you can save this, you can save this query. You want to save it, yes, you can give it fees balances, fees balance query. Have that query, it will be showing you that number. You can run very many queries. Remember when I open, let's say I create another query, create this query from, okay, let me create another query from the students table. Create query design, and I want this from students table, add, and let's say I want students registration numbers, their first names, and home districts. Then I want specify those from, so if I run this query, it will show me students that come from Barara. Let's view the SQL. The SQL is a structured query language which we use to, of course, query our tables, and it is written in this structure in Microsoft Access database management system. We use the select query if we want to search, and you see select students dot students table dot registration number, comma students table dot fname. So the students table and the students table and the field name are embedded in the field in the field name. As you say, the field names that you want to appear in your form, in your query, are the ones written in this way. And of course, you first identify the table from the students table, where students table dot home district equals Mbarara. So that's really the way you have to write that query, and that is the format that you always use to write queries that other SQL in case you want to use them. And remember, we have select queries, we have update queries, we have insert queries, but the SQL format, the structure will always be like this. So worry not about that. For now, you can simply run them using design view. But just in case you want to write queries, do some research about them and simply know how to write it. But in other database management systems, such as really MySQL, and we can simply use our SQL to write uh, our queries. So can simply run this, and you have your query, and can save this as students home, students home query, students home query. Okay, So you have queries. Let's say I want to create a form, a report. Well, I want to create a report out of this, and out of which query, let's say out of fees balance. I open my query and I simply want to create um, a report out of this. So there are different types of forms. There's a form design and blank form, and then report wizard. Any of these can give you the report that you want. But the really quick one is this. So I will select that. And after selecting it, of course, it will take me to give me a table, rather to give me my report, and I can edit the heading as fees balance report for its students. Fees balance report. You can really edit this, format it the way you want. Let me go here, the layout. First print preview this. So really need to do some edits. So let's close the print preview. So let me reduce my field names such that they can really fit very well in my report. Can besides them. So with this report, you can also insert images, you can insert page numbers, you can insert logos, you can do quite a number of things. You can change the colors, colors of your report. You can change the themes. So here you want to view report view. This is how your report will look like. And so you can save it. If you want to change the layout, of course, if you're in the print preview, you can change the layout, landscape. You can convert this to any of these. You can export it to Excel, export it to send it directly on an email. Any of these you can do as you want. So let's save this as payments report. So save. So that's how we can simply create the different uh, database objects. And let's create a relationship finally as we close today's tutorial. So I'll go to relationships. Let's close this object and then create the database tools and then so select the tables that you want to use in the relationship. Then identify fields which are common in these tables, these tables, and then you can use them to create relationships. Say I want to link these tables, the access numbers. So access number in these tables will be related. And then I can go ahead to create relationships. Simple as that. This is a diagram that shows how these two tables are related because students payment. These payments table is related to students by the access numbers. We identify students in this in the payments table with their registration numbers. And simple as that, one student uh, can pay different types of fees, and this is makes more meaning when it is especially when you're drawing an entity relationship diagram. But for that case is how we can create that relationship. But you need to know what relationship really exists between entities, between your various tables. So save our relationship, and that we can close out from there, but simply learn how to run very many types of queries and learn how to identify different data types to use in the table and learn the importance uh, of different database objects. And with that, you will be good to go with creating databases in Microsoft Access. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best in your exams as you prepare so well. Thank you.